Welcome to the Week in Review, the show that brings you up to date on the week that was. Here are the top stories. Vijay Mallya's United Spirits will sell stake to Diageo. Cabinet approves one-time fee on Spectrum. And Barack Obama gets re-elected for a second term. After much speculation and anticipation, United Spirits finally struck a stake sale deal with Diageo. On Friday, the two companies announced an agreement that will give Diageo a majority holding in Vijay Mallya's United Spirits. Under the deal, Diageo will buy a 19% stake from the promoters for £660 million. There will also be a fresh equity issue amounting to a further 8%. And Diageo will make an open offer to public shareholders. All in all, the deal will cost 11,166 crores. Diageo will get a 52% stake and a toehold in India's liquor market. Moving to other news, the Central Information Commission is demanding more disclosure in the Reliance Petroleum insider trading case. It has told markets regulator SEBI to provide details from its investigations. At present, SEBI is trying to settle the case via the so-called consent process. The consent process allows those under investigation to pay a fine in return for closing the case and having all charges dropped. Back in 2007, Reliance Petroleum merged with Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industries. SEBI has been looking into whether organisations connected to RIL engaged in short selling prior to the merger. The Central Information Commission's demand is unprecedented because SEBI does not share information on companies it is probing for insider trading. Authorities are looking at ways to overhaul the security of the government's digital information. Mint has learnt that a new set of rules are under consideration. The potential policy would categorise different types of official information. It would then create separate rules for how information in each category should be stored and transmitted digitally. Government offices are increasingly shifting to computers and away from paper. The new policy could be finalised in the next few months. The government has cleared the way for the imposition of a one-time spectrum fee on older telcos. On Thursday, the Union Cabinet approved an earlier decision by an empowered group of ministers to levy the fee. But the Cabinet has decided not to charge a new fee on CDMA spectrum. Last month, a panel of ministers had proposed charging a retrospective fee on telecom firms with 6.2 MHz of spectrum. Moving to earnings, the country's biggest lender, State Bank of India, reported strong profits along with a rise in bad loans. Net profit jumped 32% to 3,658 crores for the second quarter. But gross non-performing assets shot up by 16 basis points to 5.15% of total advances. Despite the increase in bad loans, SBI's provisioning has fallen by 46%. Chairman Pradeep Chaudhary says that's been made possible because the provisioning was front-loaded in earlier quarters. Staying with results, Bharti Airtel saw its numbers fall for an 11th quarter in a row. Second quarter net profit dropped 30% to 721 crores. That was despite a 17% rise in revenue to 20,273. And here are some stories in brief. Tata Steel has rejected a fine imposed on it by the Orissa government for illegal mining. Mint has learnt that Tata Steel will make a representation to the state government asking for a cancellation of the fine. Orissa has imposed total fines of 58,000 crores on several miners in the state. India's services sector growth has fallen to its lowest level in 6 months. The HSBC Market Purchasing Managers Index for services stood at just 53.8 in October. The previous month it was 55.8. Services account for about 60% of India's output. Finance Minister P. Chidambaram says he expects India to grow at between 5.5 and 6% of GDP this fiscal. By 2030-14, he expects that to pick up and reach 7%. His projections are in contrast to the IMF's, which expects less than 5% growth this calendar year. And finally, a long and hard-fought election campaign came to an end in the US this week, and the result largely maintains the status quo. President Barack Obama was elected for a second term. His opponent, Mitt Romney, trailed far behind in both electoral colleges and the popular vote. Obama has pledged to work with Republicans, but he could find the going difficult. While his fellow Democrats have held on to the Senate, the GOP has retained the House of Representatives. And that's all we have for you. Thanks for watching.